let's take a second right now and talk about like the uniqueness of buying into a condo building, right? So when you're buying into a condo, you're going to be subject to a big homeowners association, or HOA. So Sam, tell us about what it looks like, how we are trying to protect the client when they're buying into a condo, and kind of all of the things that kind of wrap into buying in a condominium.
Ultimately, when you buy into a condominium, you're really buying into a business, right? So because it's a business, and because in a sense you're putting assessments into this business, and that there's expenses coming out like building repairs, maintenance workers, front desk guys, we want to make sure that the business's budget is balanced, right? We want to make sure that a certain portion of money is going to the reserves or going to the side for a rainy day. If the roof starts caving in, there's some money set aside to repair the roof, right? So that's a huge part of what we do, is we look through those documents, and we'll really make sure that what the business that you're buying into is safe.
So in a condo association, you have your general assessment. Most people just say HOA. So every month, you and whomever are paying into this account, and everything that is left over after all of the expenses, maintenance, insurance, paying door staff, paying maintenance people, is left in an account called a reserve. So let's say the roof, for example, needs to be torn off and replaced, and that wasn't budgeted. Let's say it's going to cost $50,000 to replace the roof, and there's only $10,000 in the reserve account. So obviously there's a $40,000 deficit, and that's paid by something called a special assessment. And that's split up evenly across all the units according to their ownership share. Now, this is something that our clients are super fearful of. So Sam, what do you do in particular to protect people from this, from this event?
So Ben and I, just to give you an example of a story that you and I have had, we represented a client who bought into a building, and there was a lightning storm. Somehow, some way, lightning bolt hit the rooftop, and the roof became damaged. So what ended up happening was they had to make roof repairs. It ended up costing everybody in the association money, the way that you alluded to. So what ends up happening, how we can see this sort of situation, is we read through some of the condominium documents. One of my goals is to request certain documents so Ben and I can gather data about the association, about the financial health of the association, or the history. So we learned about this lightning bolt strike by looking through what's called the meeting minutes. And that's, there's actually somebody in the association who records what happens and what's discussed at the time that the association's board members meet. So by looking through the meeting minutes, Ben and I determined that there was a large special assessment that was going to come in order to repair this roof. So not only I renegotiated with the seller's attorney, but Ben also negotiated with the seller's broker to have the seller set aside some money so that when the assessment actually happens.
When you set aside that money, what's that
It's
called?
called an escrow. So what we did was we escrowed, or set some money aside in order to cover that specific unit's proportionate share of that special assessment, so that when our clients entered into the building, they don't just get hit with a $5,000 bill to repair the roof.